They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give themselves to me. Like clay I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war forge them. They will be of iron will and steely muscle. In great armor shall I clad them, and with the mightiest guns will they be armed. They will be untouched by plague or disease. No sickness will blight them. They will have tactics, strategies, and machines, such that no foe can best them in battle. They are my bulwark against the terror. They are the defenders of humanity. They are my space marines, and they shall know no fear.
After the Emperor had achieved unity on Terra, he began preparing for his push into the rest of the solar system. He mustered his forces, including many Imperial Army elements, and created the Space Marine Legions. The Legions were originally created after the Thunder Warriors and took part in many compliance campaigns across Terra. They were created with a new type of genetic modification instead, the Gene Seed. Eventually, the Space Marines would make up the backbone of the Imperium's main forces, leading the charge supported by millions of Imperial Army troops along with an entire navy, as well as their beefed-up godlike super being Primarchs to command these armies. The forces of the Imperium towards the end of the Crusade have no equal to challenge their might. In Warhammer 40k, however, 10,000 years later, the Space Marine Legions have been broken down into chapters, 1,000 strong. These chapters were spread out across the Imperium after the Horus Heresy to act as a shield and guard as many Imperial worlds as they could. Their role changed from Legion-sized forces to specialized elite formations. Acting as a scalpel, the Space Marines strike key targets such as destroying an enemy command ship, killing the warlord, or leading a breakthrough, leaving the guard to act as the bulwark and main force of engagements. If the Adeptus Astartes are the Emperor's wrath, the Imperial Guard his hammer, then his holy navy is his mighty shield. The Space Marine Gene Seed is a complex genetic enhancement given to all Space Marines. With it, the Space Marines become Legion, and some of the strongest warriors the galaxy has to offer. The Gene Seed was created on Terra by the Emperor in his biotechnical division, with experiments beginning long before the Unification Wars. The development of Gene Seed took centuries, taking genetic tissue from each of the fetal Primarchs for the project's development. This is why the Legions inherited traits associated with their Primarchs. The original Gene Seed was not mass-produced until after the first pacification of Luna. Although the Gene Seed comes with many advantages, some Legions have greater tendencies to defect than others. The Gene Seed gives a Space Marine 19 augmentations, 22 to the new Primaris Marines created by Belisarius Cawl and released in the 42nd millennium. The first of the Gene Seed augmentations is the Secondary Heart, ideally implemented within 10 to 14 years of age. The second heart allows the Marine to survive in low oxygen environments as well as boost blood flow around the Marine's body. The second augmentation is the Osmodula. The osmodula is a tubular organ that secretes ceramic-based chemicals that are laced into a marine's diet. This alters bone growth to the point that by the 2-year mark, bones will have increased in size and strength, and the rib cage will fuse into a bulletproof mass of interlocking plates. The third implant is the biscopia. This organ is placed in the chest cavity and releases hormones that vastly increase muscle growth. It also acts as a hormonal basis for later implants. The fourth augmentation for Space Marines is the hemastamen. This organ increases the oxygen that blood can carry throughout the body and serves as a monitor of the osmodula and the biscopia. Laraman's organ is placed into the chest and connected to the circulatory system. The organ releases Laraman cells, which release into the main bloodstream. They attach themselves to white blood cells and are carried to the site of a wound. Once at the wound, upon making contact with air, they form patches of scar tissue to seal any wounds the Marine has sustained. The sixth implant is the Catalepsy node. This pea-sized organ is placed into the back of the brain. If the Marine is deprived of sleep, The catalepsy node kicks in. This organ allows a Marine to sleep and stay awake at the same time, but shutting off his brain in a sequence. Though this cannot replace sleep altogether, it allows the Marine to rest while keeping his perception of the environment. Space Marines need just 4 hours of sleep a day, but can stay awake for 2 weeks without any sleep at all. The preomnor is an organ that acts as a pre-stomach that can deal with poisonous or indigestible foods. It can also isolate itself from the rest of the digestive tract in case of some extreme intake. The homophagia allows a Space Marine to learn by eating. It is placed in the spinal cord but is actually considered a part of the brain. Nerves are implanted that connect the spine and the stomach wall. Once the Marine eats, the genetic material is transferred by the homophagia to the brain as a set of memories or experiences. Stage 9, the multi-lung. The additional lung activates when the Marine needs to breathe in low oxygen or poison atmospheres and even water. The natural lungs are closed off by a sphincter muscle connected to the multi-lung. It has a very efficient toxin dispersal system. The oculobe sits at the base of the brain. It provides genetic stimuli which enables a Space Marine to respond to optic therapy. This allows apothecaries to make adjustments to the growth patterns of the eye, allowing the Marine to have far superior vision to normal humans and see in low light conditions almost as well as daylight. The 11th implantation is the Lyman's ear. This new ear makes Space Marines immune to dizziness or motion sickness and allows them to filter out or enhance certain sounds. The sus-an membrane is implanted into the brain and it allows a Marine to place himself in suspended animation. This is used in cases of extreme trauma or when the Marine suffers wounds he would otherwise have died from. This allows the Marine to be revived at a later date. The longest suspended animation lasted 567 years. The melanchromic organ controls the melanin in a Marine's skin. When a Marine is exposed to high levels of sunlight, his skin will darken to compensate. It also protects the Marine from other forms of radiation. The Oolitic Kidney is the 14th implant in a Space Marine. Along with the second heart, this allows a Space Marine to filter his blood quickly. This makes him immune to most poisons and monitors the entire circulatory system to allow other organs to function. The neuroglottis enhances a Marine's sense of taste to the point where he can detect the chemicals by taste alone. Many Marines can track a target just by taste. The mucrinoid allows Space Marines to sweat a substance that coats their skin and allows them to fight in a vacuum. This must be done manually before battle if it's expected to take place in extreme heat or cold environment, as well as a vacuum such as space. The Betcher's gland consists of 2 glands implanted into the lower lip. The gland allows Space Marines to spit blinding contact poison which is corrosive enough to burn away strong metals given time. The progenoids are 2 glands situated in the neck and chest cavity. This organ is vital to the Space Marine forces as it is the only way new gene seed can be produced. It can only be reproduced inside the Marines themselves. The glands absorb genetic material from the other implanted organs. When they have matured, each gland will have developed a single gene seed, copying each of the zygotes implanted into the Marine. These take 5 years at least to mature into gene seed. The gene seed can be extracted and used to create more Marines in the future. The Black Carapace is the 19th and final organ placed inside of the Space Marine. It is implanted directly beneath the skin of the torso in sheets. It hardens and sends neural bundles into the Marine's body. After the organ matures, the Marine is fitted with neural sensors and interface points cut into the carapace's surface. This allows the Space Marine to link directly into his power armor. While piloting vehicles, a special spinal interface is plugged into his power armor and Black Carapace. This gives the Marine a natural feel for the systems and controls, making him part of his vehicle. The new Primaris Space Marines in the 40th millennium are given 3 new augmentations along with all the other standard implants. These are implanted after the Biscopia or 3rd implant. The first are sinew coils. The Space Marine's sinews are reinforced with durametallic coil cables that contract with incredible force. This magnifies his strength and adds another layer of interior defense. The next is the Magnificat. This is implanted into the Marine's brain. The implant secretes hormones that increase the body's growth functions, especially for the osmodula and biscopia. The final new implant for Primaris Marines is the Belisarian Furnace. This dormant organ connects to both hearts. In times of extreme stress or trauma, it expels self-manufactured chemicals that act as combat stims and aid in regeneration. To wrap things up, these are all the implants a person receives to become a Space Marine. The process takes years and must be done with younger candidates since they are bodies that are more easily acceptable for augmentation. Many recruits can die in the process from implant rejection or the rigorous training each Space Marine force implements on its recruits. But if they succeed, the end result is a superhuman, fully augmented warrior that can live for hundreds of years and fight in the most hazardous war zones. An entity born only to kill until finally killed. These are the Space Marines.